Welcome back to the Ponderosa in the Bay Area Examiner Film Room. I am Seth Varnadore. First 2 weeks, a lot of fun in the old film room. This week, not quite as fun. So we'll go ahead and get into it. Just kind of look at why Miami was successful. Maybe talk about, last week we kind of mentioned some possibilities that Todd Orlando did a pretty decent job of confusing DJ Lagway, but there were some guys open, and you thought that I think even referenced last week, a veteran guy like Carson Beck may see those openings, and he saw them. He threw on time. He had a really, really good game, and USF wasn't able to get pressure on him, which they weren't against Florida either, but Lagway just couldn't see it quick enough. We saw Lagway later on last week against LSU. He's just kind of having some issues seeing it and throwing the ball accurately, consistently right now. Carson Beck is not having those issues, so leads to a tough game on the road here. So let's go ahead and get to the film. We'll start here with Miami with the football. First play, I believe, for them. They're going to have a little – and USF mixed it up. They played some man. They played some zone. They did kind of a lot of – so you're going to have a little concept where he can go here, and then if he's matched, he can break out. Then you'll have the dig behind it. Really kind of open up the window with the out for the dig. Beck is really on time here, right? He's trying to grab his eyes and expand. And as he expands, he breaks into this window here. So on time, on target. That's what Miami was consistently when they were moving the ball down the field in the passing game, on time and on target. So this was an element of the game that I don't think USF was – I hadn't watched a ton of Miami, but I don't think they ran Carson Beck a lot. So this is something I think USF – I wouldn't say they were unprepared for it, but it probably wasn't at the top of their list of things to watch, right? You got some really good running backs. You got a really good offensive front. You got some dynamic receivers. You're probably – Carson Beck carrying the football is probably lower on your list here of priorities. So, and then you've also got this element of it too. So you may be like, well, why doesn't the linebacker just attack right now as soon as he sees this pull? Because they've also got – if he attacks right now, they're throwing the screen out here, right? So he's kind of got to let it play out a little bit. And then he does a good job making the tackle, but third and short. And that's one thing if you watch the game. Beck, he completed a lot of throws down the field, but he also consistently completed the 3 and 4 yard throws. Just get yourself in third and manageable. I think they're number one, or Miami is currently like top 5 in the country in terms of third down distance. So they're doing a good job staying ahead of the sticks. And it's stuff like this that I only need to pick up 3. I pick up 4. It's not a huge play, or I pick up 5 maybe, but it's enough to convert the third down. And this is a good throw. USF tries to bring some pressure and play like 3 deep and not play as many guys underneath. You bring pressure. It's going to slant inside, and you're going to bring a pressure look here. And these guys are going to drop and get kind of depth. And then I'm playing 3 deep behind it. This is just a really good throw. I don't know if you could get a little bit more depth here from this because there's really no flat threat. All the threats are kind of vertical, so maybe you could drop underneath this a little bit more, but that's probably nitpicking. This is just a really well-thrown ball. And you see when he starts to make his throw, the receiver's just coming out of his break, and he's going to throw it. Right, this is not like if I say I'm throwing the ball right here, right now, it's not exactly like that's wide open, but he's anticipating that this vertical route is going to take him out of there because he's playing deep third. Drop it over, and then look, he had to throw it because Celiscar does a pretty good job here winning right here and getting free. If you had to hold a little bit longer, you'd probably get a chance to make a play on it. Really good throw. into what was not a huge window and really good anticipatory throws. So I think, you kind of ran up against just really good quarterback play for the most part. So I wouldn't – some of it is just a bad matchup. I don't think a lot of it was bad defense per se. So here you go, playing kind of a press coverage look. And just the timing of this, he breaks, he wins quick on the break. The ball's out before the defensive back has a chance to recover. You're also, I think you're kind of playing to not give up explosives, so your safety's playing deep. You'd rather them throw underneath, have to come up and make tackles. And then look at the pocket there. The pocket is very clean. So not much you can do if you get it that clean of a pocket right there. And then here you get caught in a man look. They're just going to run mesh underneath here. So he's going to shuffle motion out and run kind of a glance. And then you've got shallow. I think he's running the corner. And against man coverage, you just kind of get a natural pick here. As you see, the back's coming out. He's going to take the back. You've got kind of a rat player here or kind of a hole player here. But he's chasing him. And there's a lot of traffic, and you see how it just kind of your corner that's chasing the shallow runs into your linebacker that's playing the hole, and that guy just pops free. Good call by Miami. So let's USF, something I think that's probably I'm really interested to see how the offense evolves once you get away from these really good defensive lines that they've played in the first 3 weeks. Even Boise's defensive line has some pretty good players on it. So I'm interested to see how does the offense evolve once you kind of feel better about your kind of trench matchup. Because USF, while they did take some shots, there was a lot of these quick throws. So you got double slants backside. You got kind of an outlaw concept here where I'm going to run kind of a quick hitch. It's almost like a two-man stick concept, right? There's no vertical, but two-man stick in the backside. I've got double slant. So right here, you got both guys kind of in on the stick. So you throw the flat route, good catch, get what you can. Get to third down here. I like this design on third down. Just got to be ready, right? If we've got to block one, we've got to go block one, right? Which I would imagine is what he's got to do, cut him off. Because if he gets him cut off a little bit better, you still end up picking up the first down. But if you get this one cut off, now you got an alley, and maybe I one-on-one make a guy miss. Big play, right? Neptune's a pretty explosive player, I think. But instead of a bigger play, because you got a good look here, you get pressure there. So now I can kind of pin in here. If I get this thing pinned right there, well, now I catch it. Here's my alley. One-on-one with him. Bang, bang, make him miss. Could be a huge play for you. But you don't quite get that corner blocked. Miami does a pretty good job of they're really aggressive and they just ran right to it. But you've got to anticipate if you're the receiver, especially with his eyes in here seeing a throw, he's going to shoot for it, and you've got to try to cut him off. It's a tough block, but you can always go flat and adjust back up. It's hard to go up and adjust back flat because he's going to be running by you, right? So as I go here, I go up, and then to try to adjust back flat, but he's already beat me because he's running a straight line. So kind of overplay him, and then I can adjust back out to him and create that alley. So if I catch it here, and let's say, these guys' positions are switched and I've got him pinned right there, I'm hitting this alley 100 miles an hour. And then, like I said, make a guy miss. Got a chance here. Still a good run to pick up the first down, but the drive ends up stalling there. So Miami's got the football back. A lot of compressed sets from Miami. But this was kind of the story to me. When USF did play pretty good coverage, and right here they've got it kind of bottled up. Beck did a good job of just dropping it to the check down. Now, this is also, we'll let this one play full speed because this was, you can't say USF wasn't out there hitting. You drop it off here. Nice move. Bang. And then Gaskin gets one on Beck later. Blast him. So this was a nice hit there by Mac Harris. Looking like a Mac truck. Again, you get Miami to a third down. They go to a compressed set. And they kind of do the same thing you did to them. That two-man stick look or that outlaw. He's going to be in here. And we're going to widen. And it's really, what are you going to do? Are you going to widen with it? If you widen with it, just throw it in this hole. If my timing's good and my spacing's good, it's going to be a tough catch, but I can pick up the first down like they do right there. And then this is a little wrinkle. I don't know if they thought USF would play man or if USF really has eyes. Sometimes these H-backs will take you to the football in run schemes, but you'll see when they shuffle in and then come back, you see the USF linebacker to that side kind of come back into the box a little bit more as well, kind of follow him a step. And so you'll see later, bringing myself in here, it makes it a little bit easier for guys to work up to me in the second level. And you'll see later on one of the big runs, that's kind of what happens, is this ends up being a pretty big run, but not for it wasn't as much for that guy, the linebacker, following the tight end there. But you'll see a big touchdown run later. It's that look where you kind of get tucked in. So I'm not sure what happened on this one. I would love to see the all-22 here. It looks like it's just a simple stick concept where I'm motioning, I'm become the flat, I got to go, I'm the stick guy. And I don't know if there's a double move or something, because Beck does kind of look like he can almost like pumps a little bit here. Like right there, is there a double move? Because you're right now, I think you're I don't think this guy's like, this is a big, fast receiver for Miami, but I don't think he's like Usain Bolt to where he can just run by you like this. So there must have been a double move there. And then you're not in bad position. Just play through the hands. You're trying to. The guy makes a really good catch. And that also happened a few times. You're in pretty good position, and the ball's thrown really well, and Miami makes a great catch. That's going to happen sometimes. But I think what happened here is you got some type of double move, because it's just a straight go route here. But bang, I think you got double moved a little bit, and that's how you kind of lost that leverage right there. So USF 3rd and 7, Byram rolls out. So you're going to get – it seemed like they had a plan to kind of chip the ends a decent bit and get out. You'll see later they kind of chip. I think they get caught up because Miami kind of brings edge pressure. So at one time, they'll chip here, and he's actually going all the way inside, and then you get one off the edge that comes free because I think the tackle's expecting it to get chipped onto him, and then you got one coming free. It was a tough look, but you're getting 3 verticals here in a shallow. So it almost looks like you're getting like a deep crosser here, and then maybe a more vertical posts, and then a dig back behind it here, and then the shallow. So if you do get man coverage on the shallow, you've got a chance to throw that over top of his head. If you get zoned, you've got a chance probably to hit the dig here. Byram does a really good job of just escaping, flipping his hips, and making a great throw down the field to Chaz Nimrod. I think that's the other bright spot from the game, right, is Miami's got a lot of fast, athletic dudes. Chaz Nimrod ran by a lot of them. I think you're about to see another one, maybe not this play, but coming up. I thought this was a pretty good job here. Pretty good job here by your right tackle, and good job by Byram stepping up in the pocket. That's kind of what I wanted to look at here. Good pocket, steps up in it. And then this is a good job getting out and kind of working towards the sideline. There's a few other times he worked up vertical, which is fine, but that's also when he fumbled because he got absolutely smoked, right? So I think this is you want to push up from the pocket, and then he does a really good job here, getting vertical, extending the football here to get the first down. And then right here, you're going to take a shot. I think this is a deep choice look. with off play action. You're going to get this route, which is, I think people call it different things, but he's going to bend into here to try to occupy both these guys. So it's a dig. And with the corner rolled up, he's just probably thinking, I'm running a go route right now. You're going to get kind of a post back here, which kind of occupies these two guys. So you really, you're kind of like, all right, everyone inside the numbers will play a game here. But out here, it's one-on-one. And if I can win that matchup, that's my play. So play action, you see them play the bender. He's low. Safety's staying here playing for the post. And now I just got a one-on-one up there. Here, I'll let it run so we can kind of see this in full speed. And then we'll go back and watch it again. So right there's your one-on-one shot. Nimrod runs by him and then gets back on top and gets back stacked, right? He doesn't let this guy stay in his hip pocket and kind of push him to the sideline. He works to get back on top of him. So I have to run through his body to make the play. And he goes and gets this thing. And that is, a really good ball right there. Thrown from the 28. From the hash on the 28, right? Opposite hash. And this thing lands around the 20. Maybe the 18, 28 to the 18. Opposite hash as well. Do a little Pythagorean theorem if you want to get the exact yardage there, but nice big throw. And the issue was early, you moved the ball a little bit, but you couldn't finish drives with touchdowns. So you had to settle for field goals down there. And against a really good offense like Miami, that's a death knell, right? I put this one on it. Watch when this ball is thrown. So you want to talk about Carson Beck being a high-level quarterback, especially a high-level college quarterback. Watch when this football is thrown, right? He's starting to throw it right now. He hasn't made his break yet. So the ball's being thrown right now. He sees this guy widen for the flat route. He's just throwing the ball in here. Now, it's not a perfect throw. It's a little behind the guy, but the timing of it. It's really hard if I can throw it before the guy breaks, right? Because his initial break, unless you're unbelievable at corner, right, and this guy's not great, this guy's a pretty good receiver. His initial break, he's probably going to create a little separation. So if I'm throwing the ball before he breaks, so right when he comes out of it, the ball's getting there. That's really tough. Now, imagine he waits a second. Linebacker might get underneath this thing, right? So this is just kind of the high-level quarterbacking stuff, which it's hard. It's really hard to beat this. All right, so then here's kind of a look, right? Watch as he comes across, right? They're just kind of slicing this thing. As he comes across, see the backer come inside as well. And now look, I've able to work up to him, get him sealed here. And that's what creates the big lane right there. So they saw something on film or kind of had to tell when maybe we'll get man coverage or something, and he's going to track him across the box. You see him track them across the box. That enables, watch the guard here. That enables him to slam that back on the center, climb up, and they're so big you just got to get your hands on them. And possibly get away with a clip right there, but pretty good job there schematically by Miami, and they got some really good players, so that helps too. 3rd and 8 for USF. So here's what I was talking about earlier, where you kind of got a possibility of both these guys coming. They're wide, so they want to chip him to make it a little bit easier on him. But watch how the chip kind of, right, they're going to chip the end to make it easier on the tackle, right? So this guy's not getting a free rush. But Miami brings another guy off the edge. So watch how this kind of throws off the protection a little bit. So I got to chip him. He's going inside anyways. And so now I'm bringing one off the edge. So now my eyes are a little late to get out to this rush. That's what forces Byram to step up. And he almost gets away because he's the first guy never seems to get him. But there's just a mess of bodies in there. Even one a little bit late there. But yeah, kind of a change up here. They go to Chip Bain, but he's also walked up. So I'm wondering if, you had one walked up before, but then this is also the posture you got to watch for. I don't know if we talked about it last week or if that was on another video, but when you see these two guys, so you see somebody up on the line of scrimmage, and then you see a defensive back right behind them. I had a coach that called it piggybacking, and that usually means I'm coming down to take your coverage responsibility because you are blitzing, right? So that's sometimes a good indicator of, hey, that's going to be blitz. So if that's something you see, maybe you change the protection, or I don't know if they just wanted to chip the ends every play. They could with the tight end to make it easier, but this one you kind of get caught with it, and that's why you get that immediate pressure. All right, so a couple drives, I think a little bit later, you go for the screen here. And this is when the timing just gets caught off a little bit. Now, I don't know exactly how they teach screen. Sometimes you want to kind of take a 3-step drop, wait, and then maybe let them get a little bit closer here, let it develop a little bit longer. But it's so hard to say when you're playing that and you're just getting these guys running at you full speed. It's kind of difficult to say for sure. But the guards get kind of held. Guard gets held up a little bit. Center gets held up a little bit. And that throws the timing off. If he's able to get there, so if they're kind of up where the other guard is here, and he's able to get there, the ball is catchable, I think. It looks like from the back view, it's not as high as it looks here. But, this is just one of those ones that it's tough. The timing gets thrown off just a little bit, and sometimes on these screens, that timing is crucial, and you get the ball thrown right to the defensive player. So you get Miami to a 4th and 1, and you actually do a pretty good job. Miami goes to like the power T here or the T formation. Right here, you've got a chance, but, right, I'm having to work off a block. And Miami wins the individual matchup there because I'm having to run through an arm tackle because they've blocked me pretty good. But you cause a kind of a pile there and have a chance, but just aren't quite able to make that play. And I think you're going to see Miami do that to a lot of people this year. All right, so another 1st and 10 here. These quick throws, nice, easy throws on the perimeter, get the ball out of your hands. Function is kind of run plays too. But you see Miami's got some serious speed there at linebacker, running flat down the line of scrimmage, making that play. So you're actually going to drop here and bring your 4th from here. So a little bit of different look. So you're going to drop him out, and we're going to slant across here and then wrap Mac Harris all the way around. And this is kind of one of the few times you really make Beck a little antsy. You got to make him move in the pocket a little bit and throw with somebody around him. And he forces one in there. Great job high pointing the ball here by Jarvis Lee. He's made some plays the last few weeks against Florida. He made a couple great tackles. So great job and really good design there. And good kind of timing on this blitz by Mac Harris, right? There's slant. We're dropping out in the zone. We're only bringing 4, but we're still able to get home. And great job. Really athletic play there. High pointing that football for a pick. I put this one on because, Jalen Schuler does a good job here. Right? Beck's pulled it a few times. I got to kind of respect it. He pulls it. This is a guy I think that's like a return specialist. So he's got some speed. They think if I get the linebacker outflanked, I'm going to have a really big play. Schuler does a great job running down line of scrimmage, It's an ankle tackle, but it counts all the same. Still a good gain for Miami, and helps them move the chains, right, by staying ahead of the sticks here. But really great job by Schuler kind of making this play. This is not an easy play to make right here. So Miami tries to get USF. They're trying to go like switch verts and like screen fake. So they're trying to get USF to jump this vert. If they can get two guys, they think probably to jump the vert, we will be 2-on-1, right? One down the hash, one kind of down the numbers. You got to cover two guys with one guy. You're in trouble. Really good job here getting back underneath this. Ball's kind of in between. The receiver goes up and tries to make the Odell catch. If he doesn't tip that, your safety might pick it. Instead, he tips it up, and Chenault's able to get back underneath it for the pick. So good job not totally biting on this and giving it up. Kind of an errant throw. And then again, if you were able to get, here's another blitz where you're slanting, dropping, and bringing pressure off the edge. That seemed to give them some issues. You're able to get a little bit of static in his face, a little bit there. And when you're able to do that, he has to throw a little bit early, maybe earlier than he'd like, and you can put it in harm's way, and he's a little bit off, right? But you just weren't able to get that pressure consistently enough. But kind of the same look, really, as the one. Same idea, I guess, right? They didn't wrap Mac Harris all the way around. They brought Schuler instead, but you're dropping this in, bringing the fourth from the other side, and slanting across. And that slant gets this tackle to compress, and now you get one-on-one with the back and are able to compress the pocket a little bit and make Beck uncomfortable, which you weren't able to do enough. But those are things that if you're able to do it some, I think once you get to conference play, which is coming up, you're going to be in really good shape. Again, good to see Nimrod just win one-on-one. I don't know if this is an option or if he just truly got the slant the whole time. But you can see him chop, 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 bang, breaks it off. Good timing from Byram. And just a little bit away from breaking that for a big one. All right, so right here you go double pass. Miami's got it played pretty well. But again, I've got two guys here to block these two. So, if he comes and he's, bails, I got 2 for 2. Now you're hoping that 2 comes and the corner also comes, but you can throw it before, right? The corner gets there. And what happens here, though, is the safety bails. And then as the safety bails, I should probably get eyes out here, right? As he's gone, get eyes out here. Now, I don't think even if you get the throw off, it's probably not a good play because they played it pretty well. They got the safety playing over the top. But it's killed really quick because I don't get my eyes out here quick enough, right? The safety's gone. And it could be a thing where they thought the corner was going to bail, kind of, and that's why they thought he might bail. But I think you call this because you think they're going to play up, right? So just couldn't get out there fast enough. Now, with this, it may not have mattered, but you may have had a chance if I don't got that in my face as well. But going for the old double pass, right? So you see Byram step up, so it's a backwards pass here. He steps up, backwards pass, and then you're supposed to throw it. But probably a good no throw because the safety is back there and kind of all over it. So not a bad idea to kind of hold it here. And you may have been forced to with how quick it got to you. So this is one where earlier Byram escapes up through the pocket and then he kind of pushes it back out towards the sideline, right? You don't want to cut back. All the big bodies are in here, right? So anytime you cut it back, especially a team with that team speed like Miami, you're setting yourself up to get hit, right? So you cut back into it, bang, helmet on the football. There's a fumble, another turnover, right? We'd probably rather, hey, make a cut. Right here, you made a cut. Just stay out there, run away from people. Don't try to cut back in. He makes a great play, but if he doesn't and I'm able to avoid him, I'm getting smoked by this guy too, right? So now you can't overcoach instincts and say, hey, make sure you're doing this and this and this. But it's just something where, hey, maybe once I escape up through the pocket, work towards the sidelines. But we've seen Byron make great plays, so that's probably a little nitpicky. This is great. So, right, so you run enough ISO, right, where the H-back kind of leading up through on the backer. You run enough of that, you can go pop with it. So right here, sell the run fake. Byron does a good job of, as he's selling this, his eyes are here to kind of hold this safety over here. Sell the run fake, come off, and then good timing on the throw. You see the safety's coming up to fit in the run. Good timing and good placement for a nice play to your tight end. So that was a fun one. Liked that one. This is kind of a dash concept where it looks like it's true rollout the whole way, but they have this here. So if the corner's off up top, he can catch and throw that right now. And then while that's going on, he's going to work to the flat here. He's working across. So it becomes like a sprint out concept after that. So I can kind of look short here if they give it to me. If not, so quick game drop, they don't have it, turns into a sprint out. The timing of it works out. You get your back in the flat. And again, Miami was flying all over the field. Don't get anything out of that one. Good throw here on the dig route. I did also want to show this one up here. They go kind of almost like a dig, look, and go here, and they win. And the dig back here. But good ball, good catch here. But I did want to also draw your attention to this. That kind of and go up there. He won, it looks like. So if I was looking there, I might have had a shot. But always good to see. That's the thing. That's like, all right, are we running by these power 4, top 5 in the country defensive backs? Yeah, we've got some guys that can do that. That'll work in the American, right? That'll play. So good ball there on the dig, good catch. 3rd and 8 here. Really cool design here on the screen. I don't know if this is, they had a pretty good idea. All right, this is what Miami's bunch check is going to be, or if they just know, hey, we're probably going to get man coverage or something. But out, notice he'll bump out, right? They'll get kind of some displacement with the motion. Right, good block here. Use that as a shield. And then your lineman kind of, DB doesn't fit it great, but then really good run after catch here for the touchdown. So cool design. The screen game stuff has been awesome all year, and that's really good to see. I think that's a sign to me, typically, of really well-coached offenses have really good screen games because it takes planning, and you guys got to get the right spots, and it takes good timing, right? You can't just kind of call screens and not practice them and be really good at them, right? It's bad screens look really terrible, right? And they can be really negative plays. So to me, good screen teams typically a sign of a well-coached team. So screen game's been awesome the first 2 games, but I'm interested to see offensively for USF. How does the playing change? Because you've seen a lot of quick throws, a lot of screens these first 3 weeks. Does that lessen? Now, screens can be a great weapon for you, especially if people are rushing the passer and kind of pinning their ears back. But does that change at all the next couple weeks as you kind of get into, obviously, South Carolina State? You're going to have a big advantage in the trenches, but a lot of the American, I think you'll match up really well with most teams you play. So does that go down? Does it stay? There's still good weapons to have in your back pocket. Defensively, I think you just ran into a really good quarterback and a really good offense and a veteran guy that knows how to get in and out of protections, get in and out of bad plays, right? Get in good plays, get out of bad plays. You're probably not going to see a lot of those the rest of the year, right? That's an NFL quarterback. So I haven't looked at everybody in the schedule, but I don't think you'll see one of those again for a little while at least. So thank you for watching. This will be live for patrons Wednesday night, live on YouTube later in the week. If you're enjoying this, if you're not a member, join the Patreon. You can get this early. You also get an extra preview podcast every week. Those are usually like anywhere from like 40 minutes to an hour just on the opponent, typically. And those have been pretty fun so far. If with teams that have dedicated media covering, we try to get one of those guys on to talk about it, and we talk about the teams from an advanced stats perspectives. And that's every week. So $10 a month to get you that extra podcast, the film room early, access to our Discord, which functions as our message board, and we've got some insider stuff in there as we can share it. But thank you guys for watching regardless. Hopefully next week it's a lot more fun in the film room. Either way, we'll be back next week to take a look at some more film.